In this video, I will discuss about BeanPostProcessor in Spring. To know about BeanPostProcessor, you should know about initialization method of Bean. What happens that Bean is created by Spring container, and then Spring provides three ways to create the initialization Bean. What we can do is we can use post construct annotation to create a initialization method, or in XML configuration we can use init method at, uh, attribute with bean element, and we can also use initializing bean interface to create the initialization method. What we do in initialization method, we can check the properties set by the bean in initialization method, or we can start some any configuration task. So to understand the bean post processor, we should know about the initialization method. In my application, I have XML approach and Java config. I will show you first how to create the initialization method using post construct and init method in XML configuration. You can check for the initializing bin interface. Let's see in XML configuration. Look, I have a bin user service. What I am doing that I have a init method attribute, and here I am just specifying a method name. I have created it inside user service named as init. So what will happen that our init method will execute just after user service is created by constructor. Look at this. I have a method init, and this method will be called just after the constructor of the user service. In the same way, in Java config, I have used the post construct. This method will do the same thing as we have seen in init method. So this method will run after the constructor, means when the user service bean is created. So this was about the initializing method in our application. Now let us understand about the bean post processor. A factory hook that allows for custom modification of new beans instances. Bean processor, bean post processor is a factory hook that using which we can perform custom modifications for the new beans. What type of modifications? We can check whether this is the marker interface, or if we want to wrap beans with proxies, in that case we can use bean post processor. So it provides two methods. Post process before initialization, it means this method will be called before initialization method is called, and this one will be post process after initialization. This one will be called after initialization method is called. So using these two methods we can perform our task like checking whether it is marker interface or wrapping beans with proxies, or for some other task we can use these two methods. And the sequence of their calling is constructor is called, then post process before initialization will be called, then our initialization method will be called, and after that post process after initialization will be called. Use We can use it to check for marker interfaces or wrapping beans with proxies. How will we register? We can register by two ways. One is that just define, create bean post processor in bean definitions, or we can use bean factory to register programmatically. Okay, and ordering. If we are creating more than one bean post processor, then what will be their ordering? If we have registered via bean definitions, then we can use priority ordered and ordered interface. And according to that, those bean post processor will be ordered. And if we are adding bean post processor using by program programmatically we are adding, then in that case the order in which we are adding will be their order. So this is the ordering of the bean post processors if we are creating more than one. So let's see how we have to create. Come into the Java config. This is a sample my bean post processor. What I am doing is just we have to define here our those two methods, post process before initialization and post process after initialization. I am doing here nothing, just printing some message. Then what will happen that between these two, before initialization and after initialization, between these two our initialization method will be called. So what is our initialization method? This is our initialization method. We will see the output in the log that first initialization method will be called before initialization, then our initialization method, then after that this. We will see one thing that bean post processor will also be called for app config. This will also be called for an app config and then for user service. Let's see the output. Look at this. For the app config, bean before and after, then user service before, then our initialization method, and then after initialization method, and after that just a simple method I am calling from the bean. So this was the sequence. Let's see in the XML configuration. I have the same my bean post processor. Now I have registered bean here. I have a bean here. Register your post processor here. In Java config, we have created as a component, and in XML config, we will create its a bean. Okay, this is a normal bean. Here, bean post processor will be called for this bean only because it has only one bean. Just I am calling the bean and calling its one method. So we know the order. First, post process before initialization, then our init method, then post process after initialization, and then I have called our one method from the bean that will be called. Let's see. before initialization, then initialization method, then after initialization, and then the method we have called from the bean. So in this way uh, we have understood that how to use our bean post processor. So if you are using more than one bean post processor, you have to use priority order and ordered interface. And if you are adding bean post processor programmatically, then in the order you are adding will be their order. Okay, thank you.